Hey everybody. So I've been working on a project the last few days that I thought some people may find interesting, so I figured I'd make a quick video on it. So when Radio Shack was going out of business, I went to a couple Radio Shacks and pretty much bought up all their inventory of panel mount switches and LEDs and things like that. Everything was 90% off. I think I spent like $100 in two stores. But one thing that I bought was this, which is just a prototyping breadboard, and it's kind of a cool little pack. It's got two larger breadboards and two smaller ones, so I thought it was kind of neat. I don't know if they had more, but I only bought one because honestly I never really use these things. So I was looking through my Radio Shack bag that's still full of all the stuff I bought the other day, and came across this again. It was still in the package, and I was just kind of thinking to myself, why do I never use prototype boards? They're pretty convenient. And I do have this one right here, which I mounted to a large project case, and I think I was originally intending on putting some switches and knobs and stuff into the case to kind of make it like one of those little project labs you get when you're a kid. But it is kind of convenient at being raised up off the table a little bit. But this project was actually an experiment to use LEDs as variable capacitors for changing frequencies of oscillators, which is something I saw on the internet somebody was experimenting with. And I think I did it 2 years ago. So I mean, it's been sitting like this that whole time. So what I typically do is just go straight to designing a PC board like that. So and then I build a little project case out of it. Here's another one I have, and a little deep frequency oscillator I made. So the conclusion I came up to as to why I never use prototype breadboards is because I don't really do a lot of experimentation in my house. So most of my projects are radio related. So I'm either going to take it out to the yard and hook it to an antenna, or I'm going to build a little project case and put it in my car and drive far away and try to pick up, the transmission from my antenna or something like that. So it's really not practical to have a breadboard with a bunch of parts hanging off of it, or it's just going to get messed up while you're trying to transport it. So this was my idea. I drew it out on a piece of paper, and I call it the Portable Radio Lab. I think whenever I was a kid and had those little project breadboard things from Radio Shack, they were called project labs or something like that, or electronics labs. So I called this the Portable Radio Lab, and it's basically just a 9-volt. Well, it's like one of these. So all my things pretty much have the same, connectors and knobs and stuff. I have a power switch. I have a 9-volt battery inside. I have 1 or 2 pots on them. And then I'll usually use these 1/8 inch or 3.5 millimeter mono jacks for my antennas, or I use an SO239 or 2. So that's pretty much the trend that all my things have. See, that's got a switch and 2 pots and some 1/8 inch jacks on the back. So my idea was to have a 9-volt battery, have the breadboard inside of it, have the SO239 mono jacks, some pots and switch, all inside of a little case that I can have a top, and after I build it, I can transport it pretty safely without having to worry about pulling wires out and stuff like that. So I went to Fusion 360 and designed a case, and this is what I came up with. So I've got a spot for a power switch, 2 pots. There's a little area for a 9-volt battery. This is where the breadboard will go. Got 2 SO239 connectors, 2 1/8 inch mono jacks, and I have a top for it. The top has a little area piece that presses down on the 9-volt battery. I have a little foam piece I'm going to put in the bottom, and it sandwiches the battery in there to keep it from moving around. And that's pretty much it. And then after I make my little circuit, I can put a top on it. And then I can go put it in the car and drive away, or take it out to the field and hook it to an antenna or whatever. And should be pretty secure from wires falling out and things like that. So I'm going to put this together real quick. I've already seen one issue with it. So this is a SO239 connector, and they do not have a ground lug. So normally what I'll do is I will drill 4 holes and then put bolts through it, and on one of them I'll put a ring terminal with a wire coming off of it, and that'll be my ground. But I decided to get fancy this time and made it to where I actually screwed the screws into the plastic to hold it, so I have nowhere to put a nut and a ring terminal. So what I'm going to have to do is grind 2 of these off and maybe drill the hole a little bigger so I can put a bolt and a nut on 2 of the lugs. But the other 3 you'll still be able to use a plastite screw, which will be pretty convenient because it'll be pretty difficult to try to screw a nut and a bolt into the bottom of those corners. So I'm going to put that together really quick and then we'll take a look at it. Okay, so here's all the parts I've gathered. I've got 2 SO239 connectors with hardware. I have a breadboard. I have hardware for the actual top. I have 9-volt battery with a little foam pad, 9-volt battery plug. I have a power switch, 2 mono 1/8" plugs, and 2 10K potentiometers. This is where I ground down the 2 bumps and drilled the hole a little larger so that it can use these screws right here. I'm going to go ahead and solder some wire on each of these components because it'll be pretty hard to get the soldering iron in there once everything's put together. So I've just got some single-stranded wire that should be easy to plug into the breadboard. I'll just leave everything 3 or 4 inches long and then I'll cut it to length whenever I get everything together. Okay, so everything's put together now. I'm going to remove the adhesive backing. This has sticky tape, the two-sided tape on the back of it, and mount it in there, and then I'll cut some wires to length and do a little wire management and see how neat I can make it. Okay, so here's the finished product with how the wires cut to length. I probably should have left them a little bit longer, but I think it'll be okay. I had to make a few changes. One, I had a washer on this bolt right here, and it stuck up too high and was hitting the lip right here on the top. So I just removed the washer and turned the lug sideways, and that clears fine. And over here the pots are just barely too tall. So got the Dremel tool and ground down a couple little notches right there. So now it fits in there properly. I guess the other things I did while off camera were installed that, the breadboard, and this little foam pad right here. So this piece right here presses down the battery and it presses down the foam pad, and that's the right length so that it compresses the pad just barely, so that way it'll hold the battery in place. I think that's pretty much it. So I'm going to end the video here. If you found this interesting, let me know in the comments or like the video. I haven't seen anything exactly like this before, so I thought it was kind of a cool idea, but if you've done anything like this or seen it before, let me know. It'd be interesting to hear. So thanks for watching. I almost forgot to put some knobs on it, so they don't quite fit, but that's all I have right now. I did not upload STL files or parts list to my website because some modifications need to be made to the case. If I do that, I'll put a link in the description below. I'm not probably going to do that unless somebody shows some interest in it. So if you're interested in building this possibly, just let me know in the comments and I'll put something down there. I have a couple projects planned using this, and I doubt I'll make videos on most of them, but I may on one or two if they turn out with some interesting results. So it may show up again on the channel at some point. But anyways, thanks for watching. Bye.